There's a little bit of confusion with the Sony A7 III regarding what its maximum shooting speed is. Sony state that the camera will shoot up to 10 frames a second, but a lot of people have been saying that that is only if you're shooting in compressed RAW, and that if you're shooting uncompressed you only get 8 frames a second. Well, today I'm going to put that to the test. Let's go. So I have my A7 III set up on a tripod with the Sony 100 to 400mm lens. I'm going to have the lens set to manual focus, and I'm going to focus it over there. Because over here, about 3 meters away from the camera, I have my phone set up with a timer. So the idea is very simple. Firstly, I'm going to take a benchmark image, just one single image shot uncompressed, to get an idea as to what sort of file size we're dealing with uncompressed RAW. I'm then going to take a second image in compressed RAW so that I know how much the files are being compressed by. Then I'm going to set the drive speed to high, which is 8 frames a second, and shoot it in uncompressed RAW, just to make sure that I still get the same sort of files when shooting in continuous burst mode. Then I'm going to shoot it in high plus, which is 10 frames a second. So if the camera stays in uncompressed RAW, the file sizes should remain exactly the same. The point of the timer, you might be wondering? Well, in order to clarify how fast a shooting speed I am getting, rather than just rely on my ears alone, is if I set the timer running and then I take a continuous burst for about 2 seconds, if the camera is shooting 10 frames a second, then I should be able to find 10 images in a sequence that all fit within 1 second on the screen. That's the theory. Let's give it a go. Right, so to begin with, we have a completely empty memory card. The camera is set into manual focus, so there's not going to be any delays with that. The camera is currently set in single shot, uncompressed RAW. One down. Now let's change it from uncompressed RAW over to compressed RAW, still in single shot, and let's test the file sizes. Okay, so the first shot, uncompressed RAW, the file size is 47,946 kilobytes, or about 48 meg. The second shot that we took, which was the compressed RAW, is down at 24,183 kilobytes, or 24 meg, so half the file size. Back to it. Okay, that's benchmarks out of the way, so we now know uncompressed RAWs are about 48 megabyte file sizes, and the compressed RAWs are about half that size at 24. So now if we set the camera to high shooting speed and take a burst, we can test, is the camera still shooting in compressed RAW or uncompressed RAW? I need to go and start the timer. This should be 8 frames a second. So let's check them. Okay, so we can see the string of files here ranging from 1081 down to 1094, all of which were just shot at the high burst speed of 8 frames a second, and all of them are 47,902 kilobytes, or 48 meg, so they're all uncompressed RAW. Now the 10 frames a second. So 8 frames a second, 48 meg file sizes, so definitely getting uncompressed RAW on 8 frames a second. Now, camera set to high plus mode, which should be 10 frames a second. I need to go and start the timer again. So, 10 frames a second, hopefully. Definitely sounded like 10 frames a second, but have a look and just make sure. Okay, so that time round, it definitely sounded faster. Whether it was 10 frames a second or not, can't guarantee, but it definitely sounded faster than the high burst mode shooting in high plus. Okay, so as you can see here, all the files are still 48 meg. So whatever that was shooting is still uncompressed RAW. It's not dropped them down to compressed RAW files. And if I view the images, okay, we have one frame here that's at 1183 on the timer. And then if we scroll through, we can see here another frame taken at 1280, which is pretty much exactly 1 second later. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 images in that second. So the camera is shooting at 10 frames a second, and it is definitely shooting uncompressed RAW. So what the difference is, or what you lose between high and high plus, I don't know, but the camera is definitely capable of shooting 10 frames a second uncompressed RAW. So this really just goes to highlight what I said in my review video of the A7 III, that it really is a jack of all trades camera. No, it's not the best sports camera, it's not the best wildlife camera, it's not the best landscape camera, but for somebody like me who dabbles with all sorts of different things, it's as close to perfection for the money as you can get. If you have any questions or queries, guys, as always, comment box is down below. Thank you so much for stopping by, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Now, I'm going for a sunbathe. See you later.